Hello YouTube! My name is Nero, and today we some Call of Duty Black Ops 3 playing the beta, and another episode of Dear Nero, which of course is the weekly series here on my channel, where subscribers send me in fan mail and or fan questions, and I do my best to go and answer them. Starting with this week's episode, we're going to be doing something a little bit different. It's something that people have always been requesting. I'm thinking to myself, well, why not just add it? It's such a small little change, but I think the majority of people will like the change. So from now on, during Dear Nero, whenever I'm actually answering a question, I'm going to have the question on the screen that was actually submitted to me in my YouTube private message box. So you guys go ahead and read the question as I read it, and maybe that way you can kind of comprehend the question a little bit better. You know, sometimes people, they send me a question and it's like a paragraph long, and as I read through the paragraph, well, I try to read it in an interesting way. Like they tell us at like elementary school, like when you're reading out loud to the class, you're supposed to try and read it in an interesting way to keep people interested in following the question or following the story. But sometimes I can lose people when I'm actually reading through a very long question. So having it right there on the screen, I think is going to be a little bit easier for some of you guys to actually follow through with. And yeah, so hopefully you guys enjoy a little change. It's a small change, but it's a change nonetheless, and hopefully you guys find it acceptable. The very first question of this week's episode of Dear Nero is going to be, Dear Nero, how are the Pittsfield Panthers doing? Garrett from Texas. So Garrett is talking about my fantasy football team, and I know not everybody here is from America, so I won't go on too long with fantasy football, but gosh, guys, my season has been rough. I'm currently 2-3. I play in a money league, and we've been playing in this league since 2007. Like, I've been in this league forever. It's with a lot of people I know, and it's really, really fun. I enjoy fantasy football every single season. But I have caught the injury bug like you guys would not believe. So we have a keeper league, right? I have Marshawn Lynch. I kept him as my keeper. Guess who's been hurt the past couple of weeks? Marshawn Lynch. My first round draft pick was Dez Bryant. Guess who's hurt? Dez Bryant. My second round draft pick was Tony Romo. That kind of Dez Bryant, Tony Romo combination. Guess who's also hurt? Tony Romo. So my team has had a lot of injuries happening to it, and as a result, I'm 2-3. I'm kind of swapping people in and out constantly. One plus side is we are actually a PPR league, a points per reception league, and I ended up getting Cleveland Browns running back Duke Johnson Jr. off of the waivers, and he has been doing really good lately. Like, he's catching so many passes. That's kind of like alleviating like the loss of Marshawn Lynch over the past couple of weeks. So by far, I'm not having like the worst season. I'm 2-3. I'm still in a pretty rough spot so far in the season, but I think once Marshawn Lynch is completely healthy, I think once Dez Bryant and Tony Romo both come back, my team will be a lot better, and come the second half of the season, come around playoff time and such, I think I'll be pretty well off with my team. But yeah, so far it hasn't been going great. I'm 2-3, and yeah, I mean, I lost last week barely, and I was so disappointed by it. And yeah, I've had a pretty good season, just hasn't been amazing. Next question, he writes, Dear Nero, I wondered what games you are most looking forward to buying in November. P.S. Do you use Control Freaks from Phantom Zero? So Phantom, obviously the game I'm looking forward to buying the most in November is going to be Call of Duty Black Ops 3, right? Obviously. And you know what the thing about it is today is October 14th. That's the day that this is being recorded, and that is the day that this week's Dear Nero is going live. I am thinking so much about Black Ops 3 as of late, because it's really starting to sink in that, yeah, we're less than a month away from this thing, which means I need to start snooping around online here pretty soon, trying to find like a backdoor source to get Black Ops 3 early and stuff like that. So hopefully we can find that so I can get the game early and get some videos for you guys. But I'm really looking forward to zombies. Like, that's gonna be so much fun. Of course, we've already seen a bit of the multiplayer. I'm excited to see what the other multiplayer maps are going to be. I'm excited to see what we're going to be able to do with those maps. I'm excited to see what the specialist customization, all that stuff is going to be like. We got a taste of Black Ops 3 during the beta, and we're going to be able to see so much more of it when the game actually releases. I am so excited for Black Ops 3, and the closer we get to it, the more and more it's, I guess, starting to sink in. Like, wow, wait a minute, Black Ops 3 is like really close. It's only a couple weeks away now. So that's starting to sink in a little bit more for me, and I'm totally looking forward to Black Ops 3 by far. In terms of games that are coming out in November, Black Ops 3 is by far the biggest one. I think it's probably the biggest one for most of you guys as well. Next question, he is going to write, Dear Nero, since you moved, we have seen double, if not triple, the amount of videos you normally put out because of your improved internet speed. So my question is, can we expect daily videos on Nero's Let's Plays? With love, Michael from the Music City. So Michael, the internet speed has drastically improved. So where I was living previously, my internet speed was roughly 50 download by 5 upload on a good day. and where it is now is about 150 download and about 15 uploads. So uploading videos is like, it's like that, man. It is so ridiculously quick, and I love it. The problem with it is I've also upgraded my graphics card. I think I talked about this on like the last episode of Dear Nero. Maybe I didn't. I lose track. We've got a lot of episodes of Dear Nero, so forgive me if this is kind of a repeat story. But I updated my graphics card to a GTX 980, right? It's a lot better of a graphics card, and part of having a nice graphics card is they have CUDA cores in there, which you can use to render your videos faster while using Sony Vegas. Well, for whatever reason, Sony Vegas doesn't read the newer GTX cards. I don't know why, they just don't. And so as a result, my videos are taking a lot longer to render because I don't have my old graphics card in there. I have my new one in there, but my internet speed's a lot faster, so it kind of evens out. Will there be daily videos on Nero's Let's Plays? For the most part, there is. I'm actually going to click open to Nero's Let's Plays right now and just get kind of a peek at some of the videos that have gone up as of recently. But yeah, I'm definitely trying to get videos out on that channel as much as humanly possible. I'm starting to do batch rendering and things like that, so I can render stuff overnight to kind of compensate for the slower render speeds. But yeah, we got a lot of Hearthstone videos going up. We did videos of the Star Wars Battlefront multiplayer. That was, of course, fun. The Madden series, the Call of Duty Advanced Warfare series, which if you guys were wondering, like, for an update on that, so Call of Duty Advanced Warfare, I was doing a campaign playthrough, and for whatever reason, Activision was actually being jerks, and they were taking down some of my videos in that series. And so I talked to Machinima about it, and Machinima contacted Activision, and we've got those videos back up and ready to go. So the rest of this series should be fine and copyright free. But do you guys know the problem with Call of Duty campaigns? Or I guess it's not really a problem, but in Call of Duty campaigns and Advanced Warfare especially, there are like scripted in-game events that kind of happen. Like you walk up to a thing and then suddenly this big event happens where the wall collapses and something comes through the wall or stuff like that, you know. Well, I was getting like copyright claims off those scripted events that happened, and so as a result, they were taking down some of my videos. But we got that fixed. Videos are back up, and the series shall continue. I'm sure you guys are definitely wondering about that. And of course, there's going to be a lot of other games and videos going up on Nero's Let's Plays. I have lots of ideas up here. I got lots of ideas for that channel. Nero's Let's Plays has always been kind of a passion project of mine, where I just kind of make videos of whatever it is I want to make videos of, and I've got some ideas. So stay tuned for that. If you guys want to check out my other channel, it's youtube.com/Nero's Let's Plays, and there's a link to it down there in the video description if you are lazy and don't want to type that in. Next question is going to write, Dear Nero, how much relevancy do you think the default camos like Gold, Autumn, Blue Tiger, and others will have in the Black Ops 3 multiplayer? Also, what do you think will be the camos succeeding Diamond in Black Ops 3? And finally, what do you think of Treyarch's decision to add a realistic difficulty to Black Ops 3's campaign? Hope you're having a good day. Draconian. Oh, so many questions here. So, what do I think about the camos in Black Ops 3? What do I think of their relevancy? Now, I think I've gotten a question like this, similar to this before. I don't think they're going to be completely irrelevant, but I don't think the camos in Black Ops 3 are going to be as relevant as they were way back in the day. I've talked before about how earning Blue Tiger in Call of Duty 4 is kind of like a big deal, because you got 75 headshots, and there's a very limited number of camos that you could get, and it took a long time to get this kind of stuff, right? And it was kind of like a little badge of honor if you had like a red Tiger gun or something like that, and how in newer Call of Duties it isn't really like that, with the exception of like Diamond camos and Gold camos. And so as a result, the camos have kind of changed a little bit. You know, camos are just kind of camos, and for the most part, the DLC camos, like the camos you actually pay money for, generally look better. And so people end up using that, and just camos themselves don't seem to be as relevant in Call of Duty as what they were back in the day. And I think we're going to see a pretty similar system in Black Ops 3. But the thing about it is people are really wondering how the paint shop mode is actually going to work and how that's going to interfere with camos in the game. Like, is gold camo even going to be that big of a deal if you're just going to be able to put on your own little design onto the weapon itself? Well, the point of it is you're going to be able to take the camos that are already built into the game. Let's use Autumn camo as an example, like you gave in your question. Yeah, you're going to have Autumn camo there on your gun, and then you put your design on top of that, and basically you're going to be trying to make designs that kind of work with the already pre-existing camos via your paint shop. So that's definitely going to be something that's going to keep the camos relevant, because if I want to make a really cool, like, snowy looking design or something like that on my gun, which I can't wait for that aspect of it too. Like, I'm going to be playing around with my gun so much trying to make these camos and stuff, since they're actually going to be permanent and not just part of the beta, because we saw some really cool ones just from the beta, and I'm excited to see what people are going to be able to do with the paint shop mode when the game actually makes its full release. But just think, like, if I want to make like a snowy, like almost like a winter forest style of a camo or something like that, some kind of a white camo that would be already built in onto the gun would make that a lot easier and make it so it actually looks a lot better, because of course you can't use your paint shop on the entirety of the weapon. So I don't think that they are going to be completely irrelevant. I think they are going to be tools as to where you're going to be able to make your own really cool camos with paint shop. But of course, if you plan on playing Black Ops 3 on the Xbox 360 or on the PlayStation 3, then of course you are going to be using the default camos because there is going to be no paint shop mode in there as well. So I don't think they're going to be completely irrelevant, but I just don't think they're going to be as relevant as what they maybe once were. The next part of the question is, what camo do I think will be succeeding Diamond in Black Ops 3? And if you guys aren't aware, during the first ever Black Ops 3 Fridays, which is a weekly series that the studio Treyarch does, they sit down and the developers of the game sit down and they do an interview and they kind of talk about different aspects of Black Ops 3 and answer some fan questions as well. And we can learn some stuff from it. From the first one, we learned that there is going to be a camo that's going to be kind of higher than Diamond camo, right? Diamond camo is going to return, but there's going to be a higher camo on the camo totem pool, right? And what do I think that could possibly be? I really don't know. I have some ideas. Like, if you think of Advanced Warfare, I think Royalty would be ahead of Diamond, right? Because Royalty, I think, is more rare because you can actually earn Diamond, whereas Royalty is like completely luck and complete randomness as to whether or not you're actually going to get it from a supply drop or an advanced supply drop. So maybe something along those lines, but I think it also could tie into the specialist. Like, one idea I have is my favorite specialist is the Reaper. So what if I level up the Reaper and progress through the Reaper? We did learn that you're going to be able to customize your specialist. We did learn you're going to be able to level them up. There's going to be like a progression system with these specialists. What if you get like a Master Reaper? You know, if you get up to like level 10 with your Reaper or something like that, you unlock a special Reaper camo that you can only use if you have the Reaper all the way leveled up or something like that. Like, I don't know. I really don't know what they're going to be doing. Like, what camo could be possibly higher than Diamond. Like, oh, another idea just randomly came to me right now as I'm talking here. Diamond. What is Diamond camo? You get Diamond for getting gold on every single weapon within a weapon category. If you get gold on all your submachine guns, bam, suddenly you have Diamond submachine guns. What if there was a camo above that where you had to get gold on every single primary weapon, and then you unlock this super mega camo for doing that? I don't know. Maybe that would be something they would add into the game, and they would do something like that for secondaries as well. Maybe, I don't know. These are just ideas. Just throwing them out there, and you guys can do with them what you will. And the third part of the question is, what do I think of Treyarch's decision to add a realistic difficulty to the Black Ops 3 campaign? So if you guys weren't aware of this, I didn't actually make a video on this, but Treyarch is going to have a difficulty in the Black Ops 3 campaign where your health is 1. Like, not 100, like it usually is, 1. Right, you're going to have 1 health, which means 1 bullet, any stray bullet, any little bit of explosive damage or anything like that, all of that will kill you in that mode of the campaign, and they of course completely reworked the AI for that. I'm interested in it. I don't think it's going to be the greatest thing since no scoping, but I think it's going to be something that we can play around with. I think it'll be a fun aspect of the thing. I think they would have to completely redesign how Call of Duty campaigns are played, first and foremost, because if you think of Call of Duty campaigns, a lot of them, like except for stealth missions and a few outliers, a lot of Call of Duty campaigns are you pushing up a very linear path and, you know, stopping and taking out waves of enemies, then continuing to push forward, grabbing an objective maybe here or there. But it's really a lot of like stop, take cover, pick people off, move up a little bit, take cover, pick people off, like that kind of slow progression, especially if you're playing on some of the harder difficulties like Hardened or Veteran. So I don't think they could do that necessarily, because I just don't think that would work. If you can't take any damage whatsoever, I'm not sure how that's supposed to work. So I'm interested to see what they're going to be doing with it. But by no means is it going to be like the greatest thing in the world. It's definitely just going to be another interesting aspect of the campaign, which they're definitely trying a lot to make the campaign an extremely relevant part of Call of Duty Black Ops 3. Next question, he's going to write, Dear Nero, with the upcoming release of Black Ops 3 and Star Wars Battlefront, do you think Battlefront will outsell Call of Duty? If Battlefront was coming out on its own, the obvious answer would be a no to me. But with the massive following for the upcoming movie and the inevitable explosion of Star Wars showing up at every store possible, I think Call of Duty has a run for its money. Huge fan, Bo from Louisiana. So, Bo, do I think that Battlefront's going to outsell Call of Duty? The obvious answer to me is no. I don't think really any FPS game coming out this year or even the next couple of years is going to be able to top the Call of Duty sales numbers. Black Ops 3 is so ridiculously hyped. It may be the best-selling Call of Duty to come out in a very long time because, of course, they had a beta. People have been hearing about the game. They've had a lot of different marketing campaigns. Black Ops 3 is going to sell well. I think it's going to be a very, very good selling game. I could be wrong, but I feel as though Black Ops 3 is going to sell very well. Will Star Wars Battlefront sell well? I have a feeling it will because it has Star Wars in there, right? If it were just like a random FPS game that wasn't connected whatsoever with Star Wars, like if it was like a random space game that had all the same aspects of Star Wars, but it just wasn't called Star Wars, I don't think it would sell nearly as well. I think it's going to sell very well based solely off of its name. right? And I think there's so many Star Wars fans out there that just want this game to succeed. They want this game to be the greatest thing that it could possibly be. And I feel you guys there, because there hasn't been a lot of Star Wars games that actually come out that have actually been, great games. A lot of people like these Star Wars Battlefront games from way back when. I personally didn't play them, but a lot of you guys really like the old school Star Wars Battlefront games, and you want another good Star Wars game. And I'm kind of the same way with the video I made yesterday, the Friday the 13th. Like, there hasn't been a Friday the 13th, like, proper video game made since I've been alive. Like, the last one was in 1989. I was born in 91, right? So it's been a very long time. And I want a really good video game of a series that I love, which is Friday the 13th. And I think that the Star Wars fans are the same way. They want Battlefront to be a great game for a series that they love, which is Star Wars. Well, is it going to sell well? I totally think it's going to. The movie's going to help the sales of it. It's going to be showing up in stores, like just like you said, but I don't think it's going to be able to pass Black Ops 3. I don't think really any FPS game, or most video games in general, are going to be able to top the Call of Duty sales numbers. But that's just my opinion. And of course, let me know in the comments your guys' opinion on which game do you think is going to sell better. And I asked you guys on Twitter just the other day, actually, do you think that the Star Wars Battlefront beta hurt or hyped your chances of buying the game? And for me personally, I think that the beta actually hurt my chances of buying the game, because it was a very limited beta. Like, you look at all the stuff that they did with Black Ops 3, and you had so much stuff to play around with. You had multiple maps to play on, you had all these game modes to play on, and I just felt as though, like, the Battlefront one was, like, so limited. And I'm worried that the reason why it was so limited is because the game itself isn't going to have a ton of content when it actually comes out. I'm worried it's going to be like Titanfall, and that, we saw that there was a very limited number of guns in the beta, and we think to ourselves, well, there's going to be a lot more guns in the full game. Turns out that wasn't true for Titanfall. There was just a very limited number of guns. And I'm worried that Star Wars Battlefront is going to do the exact same thing, where there's going to be only 4 guns in the multiplayer, that there's only going to be a very limited number of game modes for you to actually play. Just, we'll have to see. We'll have to see how that game is going to fare. But can it be a successful game? Totally. Do I think it's going to outsell Call of Duty? Probably not, because maybe if it were like going up against Advanced Warfare or Call of Duty Ghost, but Black Ops 3, man, is so ridiculously popular. It has been so hyped that I think it's going to be one of, if not the best-selling Call of Duty game to ever release. That's just my prediction. Next question. He's going to rate, Dear Nero, do you prefer the older, simpler zombies maps like Reese or Kino, or do you prefer the modern and complex ones like Mob of the Dead and Origins? Also, about how many submissions do you get for Dear Nero each week? Any response is awesome. Harry from Mass, which is probably shorthand for Massachusetts. So, Harry, how many questions will I get for Dear Nero? We'll answer the second half of this first. Roughly between 50 to 75 on average every single week. In terms of zombie maps, so I prefer like the older, simpler maps like Reese and Kino. And even if you go before that, you look at like Shinonuma, that was a pretty simple map. You look at Varuk, that was a very simple map. You look at Noctur and Toten, the first ever map. I don't consider that a map. I consider that a room. Like, that was that was a very, very simple map. I think I like them both. Sometimes I like a nice complex map where there's a lot going on. Like Mob of the Dead is one of my favorite maps. I love Mob of the Dead. There's a lot going on there. You look at Origins, I feel as though there's maybe too much going on with Origins. Like, the setting for Origins I think was pretty cool. Like, the process of actually getting the stabs and stuff, that was kind of silly. It was like 2 hours long, like, if you want to get those stabs going, right? So I don't think it needs to be that complex. I think they should probably dumb it down a little bit, but I don't want it to be dumbed down so far that it's like, that's like Verrucht, right? Verrucht, there's no real complexity to it really whatsoever. There's really nothing going on with Verrucht. You basically camp a window, camp a stairway, use some traps here or there, and then you're good. That's how the map is played. Actually, way back when, this is like kind of a long time ago, I was playing Verrucht in World at War, like right after the map first came out, and they first kind of like implemented perks. For the first time we have Juggernog and Double Tap and all that. So I was playing with my friend Tyler, I was playing with my friend Nick, and I was playing with my friend Nick's cousin, and the 4 of us went to zombies, and we made it to round 36. And keep in mind, this is like way back in like 08, early 09 or whatever, when the map actually first came out. So that was actually a super high round, and we spent like 7 hours straight playing. I remember we were like eating, like we were all like in high school at the time, and so like we had to like go eat dinner and stuff, because we're all still living at home. And so we had to like have like individual people take turns like babysitting the crawler and walking the crawler around and coming back and doing that, the whole thing. And we were there for like 7 hours straight, and we got to round 36 and we were really happy about it. And then there's a couple reasons why we stopped. Once you got to round 36, gosh, that map didn't have Pack-a-Punch. And once you got to that round, like, you need like a whole clip of like MG42 to kill one zombie. It was kind of silly. Like the zombies took so long to actually die. It was kind of silly. And another part of it was it got boring. Like doing anything for 7 hours could get boring. But the best strategy that we found for that map was 2 of us at a window. One of us was actually watching a wall, which like that the zombies like bust down the wall, and then the other one of us was watching the stairway. Right, we were just basically camping. We were all camping like in a room together and just shooting fish in a barrel for like 7 hours. And so having maps like that I don't think is necessarily fun. Having maps where you kind of got to move around a little bit and you got more things going on, there's like an objective in terms of like an Easter egg or a power weapon for you to acquire and stuff like that, I think that's more fun. But I don't want to go like too extreme with it, kind of like with the stabs that you had in Origins, because that just takes way too long to get the stabs. Then if you want to upgrade them, you got to keep on going. And it's like, that's a little bit too much. So there needs to be like a nice medium ground, I think, for that. And one of the things that Treyarch has always done pretty well, in my opinion, is they've always kind of given us the ability to have maps that were kind of simple, and then they've also had some more complex maps all in the same game. So you can kind of really pick and choose as to which one you would like to play. If you want to play a very complex map, you can go ahead and do so. If you want to play a more basic map, like if you look back to Black Ops 2, if you just want to go play Town, which is one of the simplest maps ever, go play Town if you want to, and you can have fun that way. Or if you want to go have a nice complex one like Mob of the Dead, you can do that too, and it's all in the same game. Right, so I think it's one of the things that Treyarch has always done pretty well, and I'm looking forward to the same idea in Black Ops 3, where some maps might be harder than others, and I like that there's like a nice diversity out there. Like they're not all going to be hard, they're not all going to be simple. There's a nice diversity between all the maps. I think that's going to be a pretty cool thing. Next question, he is going to write, Dear Nero, have you ever taken into consideration to upload Dear Nero to Soundcloud? There you can download the episode and use it on the phone. I go very early in the morning to go out to deliver the newspaper before school, and while I do that, I listen to Dear Nero. The only problem is, downloading the podcast on my phone can be annoying and tricky, and putting it on SoundCloud would make things easier for me and probably some other people too. You can still upload it to YouTube, but also on SoundCloud. Albert from Iceland. So first things first, Albert here. I thought it was hilarious that you called Dear Nero a podcast. It's supposed to be like a weekly Q&A, but it's so long that it might as well be a podcast, right? It's kind of like a nice little solo 30-minute podcast. But then again, I'm not really discussing topics as much as I am answering questions, but answering questions, therefore, I'm kind of discussing topics at the same time. So I just thought it was interesting you called Dear Nero a podcast. Can I start uploading Dear Nero to SoundCloud? I actually have a SoundCloud, soundcloud.com/NerosCinema. I actually got the domain for it, I think like just before I started recording this. And yeah, I think I could start doing that. I don't think it would be too hard. I worry that without the background, like the game noises in the background, that there would be like noticeable background static because I'm in kind of like a noisy room and stuff like that. But I think I can actually edit around that and just make it so it's a nice audio experience, if that's a phrase, for you guys over there on SoundCloud. So yeah, if you guys want to download that, feel free. I'm not sure when this is going to be up there. I'm going to have to tinker around with it to see how it works. But yeah, if I can do it, if it's within my power, I'll start uploading episodes of Dear Nero to SoundCloud, and you guys can download them for free and take them with you on the go. Like if you guys want to listen to Dear Nero in the car, or while you're jogging, or while you're delivering newspapers before school, regardless, soundcloud.com/NerosCinema, and hopefully I can get that set up for you guys. Next question, he is going to write, Dear Nero, I recently received my first F-Series DX Racer in the mail. I saw in your office tour video that you also had a DX Racer. My question is, what version of the chair do you have, and what is your opinion of the DX Racer? I find my chair to be extremely comfortable and makes me more productive with the firm headrest and straight backside, and I would highly recommend them. If you have the money, keep up the good work and have a wonderful day. Luke from Virginia. So Luke, I'd actually look this up. Because I've had my DX Racer for almost 2 years now. I got mine in February of 2014. So obviously we're getting pretty close to like the 2-year anniversary of me having this chair. And I wasn't sure the exact like make and model, but apparently I have an R series, which is like a racing series. And if you guys want to check it out, there's going to be a link to it down there in the video description. Full disclosure, I don't have a deal or anything like that with DX Racer. I'm just a customer to them. And so yeah, that's the chair I got. It's an expensive chair. That's probably the first thing you guys are going to notice is, yeah, these are very expensive chairs. But at the same time, you see them with a lot of YouTubers. Now, it's true, they do work with YouTubers, and they do send out chairs to some YouTubers, but I'm not one of those people. I did the research, I looked at the reviews, and the reason why I made the investment into a freaking $350 PC chair is because they're durable, they're comfortable, and it's something I'm not going to have to upgrade anytime soon. Again, I'm going on 2 years now, and this thing is no worse for wear whatsoever. It has been fantastic. It has held up very well over the years. As a YouTuber, I sit in my office here a lot. I'm here all the time. And so all my old chairs I would get would be like from Walmart or local stores and stuff like that, where I would just be able to buy a computer chair. I would get these chairs and they would wear out after a couple of months. Like there'd be no cushion left in these chairs because they didn't have like very good cushioning in there. They're not used to somebody sitting in them for 8-10 hours a day every single day. They're not designed that way. They're designed for like grandma to check her Facebook or something like that after she's done playing bingo or something, right? They're not designed for people to be using them all the time. Whereas DX Racer chairs, they are. And I looked up, I did the reviews, I did the research, and I kind of settled on this chair, which apparently is part of the racing series. And again, if you guys want to check out the particular chair I'm using, there's a link to it down there in the video description. And yeah, I've had this chair for almost 2 years now. It's super comfortable. There's not even like a spot in the seat. Like, sometimes like if you have like a chair that you use for a very long time, you'll have like an embedded butt spot, I suppose, into your chair. That hasn't happened for me. It just hasn't happened, which is crazy because the cushion in this thing is amazing. It hasn't worn out whatsoever. It's a very durable chair. And overall, yeah, thumbs up, man. If DX Racer wants to pay me to promote their stuff, I would gladly take it because I've been a customer of them for 2 years now, and I love DX Racer chairs. But again, I'm not affiliated with them whatsoever. I am in no way sponsored with them. It's just I'm a fan of their stuff. I like their chairs a whole bunch. Next and final question, he's going to write, Dear Nero, I have noticed the way that Treyarch works with and for the community. For example, the release of patches during and after the beta, and Black Ops 3 Fridays. You, being a YouTuber, how do you feel about the way that they are working with the community, and do you wish more Call of Duties would actively communicate with the Call of Duty players? I, for one, love the way Vonderhaar actually checks his Twitter. Seems like the other developers really take it for granted. Malcolm from the Valley of the Sun. So Malcolm, Treyarch has always been really good at that. I think Treyarch has always been really kind of like for the consumer. And I've always said for a number of years, even back before it was cool, and I don't mean to sound hipster with it, but even back like during Modern Warfare 2, back when Call of Duty 4 and Modern Warfare 2 were out, like I was always like, I still think Treyarch's the better developer. I thought that Black Ops 1 was a really good game. I thought Black Ops and World at War were fantastic, whereas everybody was really, really into Modern Warfare 2 and Call of Duty 4. For the longest time, you can look back, I have some old videos, people asking about Infinity Ward versus Treyarch, and I'm like, all the time, I'm like, I think Treyarch's the better developer. I think Treyarch is great. And looking at it now, I think most people will agree with that. And they've always kind of worked with the community, and we shouldn't take anything away from Sledgehammer Games, because whether or not Advanced Warfare was really your cup of tea or not, which I know for a lot of you guys it probably wasn't because of the exosuits and how the game was played, but they really did work with the community. They've had a lot of YouTubers come to their offices early and record stuff to the DLC early. They were constantly talking to popular Call of Duty YouTubers on Twitter and stuff like that. Like, they really did work with the community a whole bunch. I will give Sledgehammer that. They worked with the community a ton, and that was definitely a positive. Treyarch has always done that. Treyarch has always been a very for the community group. David Vonderhaar has been fantastic. Even before him, JD 2020 was pretty good. I always thought that, Treyarch has always done a very good job. And I'm disappointed because I hear that this maybe actually be Vonderhaar's last year, and I really hope it isn't, because he is somebody that is so passionate about Call of Duty and so passionate with the community, and he's such an active member of this community that I think we would definitely be losing someone very valuable if Vonderhaar were to stop working at Treyarch. That would definitely stink to me. But then I look at Infinity Ward, and I feel as though Infinity Ward is just so out of touch with the Call of Duty community, with the player base as a whole. You look at the community managers, which is something very small, but the community managers that they have on Twitter, neither of the community managers will respond to you. Last I checked, the community managers for Infinity Ward have their Twitter accounts set to private, so they have to approve you if you want to follow them. It's kind of insane, right? So they just don't really seem to ever work with the community. I feel as though Infinity Ward, in my opinion anyway, is the worst ones for that. They don't work with the community whatsoever. They're really backwards, and I'm hoping that Infinity Ward can turn things around. Of course, they had that big falling out back in 2009, but how long can we really continue to the reason Infinity Ward's not doing so great right now is because they had a big falling out way back in Modern Warfare 2, and they kind of scrambled to put the studio back together. It's but that was 6 years ago. You would think they would have their stuff together by now, So I'm hoping I'm interested to see what the next Call of Duty game is going to be, even after Black Ops 3. I'm excited to see what Infinity Ward has in store for us. Hopefully it's something good. Hopefully it's something amazing. Hopefully it's nothing like what Call of Duty Ghosts was like. And yeah, but I've always thought the Treyarch was really good with the community. This year they seem to be going even further with that, which I think is obviously a great thing. It's always good when you get the community involved with your game, because generally it's going to be a better game as a result. If you're listening to the community, things are going to get buffed, things are going to get nerfed, things are going to get changed, things are going to get added to the game. And overall, it's a better thing for everybody involved, right? It's definitely better for everybody involved. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is going to conclude this week's episode of Dear Nero. I hope you guys all enjoyed it. I thought it was a very good week for questions. You guys really seemed to submit a lot of great questions, and I wanted to answer all of them, and I wanted to give you guys long answers to them, because Dear Nero has kind of evolved from, hey Nero, what's your favorite color, to, hey Nero, what do you think about the differences between Infinity Ward, Sledgehammer, and Treyarch in terms of interactivity with the community, and how do you think that's going to impact the Call of Duty franchise? Like, stuff like that, like longer questions. I like those, where you can kind of really take a while, take 5 minutes to answer one question. You know, I like that a bit more than like the short and sweet answers. So I hope you guys all enjoyed this week's episode of Dear Nero. If you did, remember to leave a rating where you guys feel it deserves. And if you guys would like to submit your questions for next week's episode of Dear Nero, it's a very simple process. Go to my YouTube channel, go to my About tab, and from there you will find a send message button. If you are on mobile, perhaps you watch Dear Nero from a phone or a mobile device, all you need to do is go to the YouTube app and kind of request browser, like you request to view my channel in your browser, and then by doing that, it will actually give you like the normal computer browser version of YouTube, and then from there you will be able to see my About tab and my send message button, right? Because YouTube's weird, and for whatever reason doesn't have like a normal integrated send message button for mobile devices. Don't know why, because like over 50% of viewers watch from a mobile device, but I don't know. It's YouTube, man. It's YouTube. Don't try and question it. Don't try and question it, guys, because you'll never figure them out. Trust me, I've been trying to figure them out for about half a decade now. Hasn't been working. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys all enjoyed this episode of Dear Nero, and if you did, remember to leave a rating. I hope you guys all have a wonderful day.